In our first story, the Church of Pentecost has built and donated a prison infrastructure to the Ghana Prison Service at Ejura in the Ashanti region. The fully furnished facility has 3 dormitory blocks with the capacity to accommodate 300 inmates. It has an administration block, a chapel which will also serve as a classroom, a football pitch, baptistry, modern washrooms, mechanized borehole, offices, infirmary, workshops and other auxiliary facilities. It was jointly commissioned by the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, Chairman of the Church of Pentecost Apostle Eric Nyameche, and the Chief of Ejura, Berima Osei Shedie II. The Interior Minister said the Church of Pentecost has proven to be a first-class corporate citizen.
Unlike some of the prison facilities we have in Ghana, who are remnants or remains of the colonial era, this facility has been purposely built according to specifications with features like the workshop, multi-purpose workshop, which will facilitate reformation and rehabilitation of inmates. Even though society still upholds difference, retribution and other attributes of interest that characterize custodial sentences, the main interest and the premium for us, government, is namely seeing offenders reformed, rehabilitated, add value to their lives as they return to the society as law-abiding citizens. That is the emphasis for us. And in that, we have found no better partner than the Church of Pentecost, Ghana, to humanity. They are building 5 prison facilities, including this edifice in Ejura and 4 others, which is commendable. 3 of the said facilities, I'm reliably informed, at an appreciable level. One of, as the Minister for Interior, I'm aware that other places in the country, interventions have been made with the police service, various facilities put in place. And this Vision 2023 shows a consistent, well thought out strategy where people's lives are going to be transformed and even startups be given to some to start. Please, the Church of Pentecost are proven to be a first-class corporate citizen.
Now, the General Secretary of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Alexander Nanaya Kumilabi, has joined us via Zoom. Apostle, thanks for joining us. Tell us, what inspired the church to embark on this project?
Thank you and good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm very grateful to God for this special honor than us to throw more light on our Vision 2023 agenda. The current chairman, Apostle Eric Nyameche, when he was elected in 2018, he declared that the church now has the numbers and therefore we should let our presence be felt in the nations. So for the next 5 years, our overarching theme is possessing the nation. That is, we want the virtues that we learn at church to be reflected in the society. It's under these themes that we have rolled out some of the activities that seek to let the church become relevant in the society. We have sub-themed that as transforming the society. So in COP, we think that it is time for the churches to, as it were, their presence be felt in the society, with regards to the funds that comes to us, with regards to character reformation and transformation of individuals' lives. So we decided that the way to go was to let the society feel the presence of God, so that through that we'll be able to reach out to the unreached and the unsaved in the society. So running on the back of this, we are putting up some structures to help the government or the developmental agenda of the government, which also falls in line with the vision of our church. So as the Honorable Minister rightly said, I will put out some police stations, and also we are put, one is a huge one is at Bumuafete, and then one was put out at Kwapim. And for the prison service, they approached us, and when they came, we realized that it fits rightly in our vision, because Chairman has been saying that for us Christians, sinners are our clients, and law offenders are our clients. So people who find themselves on the wrong side of the law, they are the people that we seek to help reform, rehabilitate, and then give them a sense of hope. So this is the first of the 5 that we are rolling out. If the Lord tarries, maybe in 3 months' time, the one in Psalm 2 will be commissioned. So this is what has informed us to do this for the nation.
Wow. Apostle, thank you very much. I mean, I'm sure you've heard so many appreciations from the public. Now, you said earlier that it was the Ghana Prison Service which approached you, and that is why you decided to embark on this project. But some would also ask that, I'm sure you've been approached by many organizations. Why settle on this particular request?
Thank you very much. As I said, we did one for the Ghana Police Service at Bumuafete, and then we started one at Ekropon, Equiapem. So when they approached, it fits into our vision. We were going to do it anyway, but thank God, maybe they got wind of it and approached us. We thought that our prisons are too congested. At the time, the figures we were having was that it's almost 60% in excess. And we couldn't sit back seeing our fellow human beings, as it were, to be packed like sardines and not having space to, as it were, freedom. We know their freedom has been curtailed. But where they were laying their head, where they eat, and the environment, we thought was going to make them even harder criminals than they went there. So yes, they did approach us, but it really fits into our vision. Therefore, we said, right, there's the opportunity that has been thrown at us. Let's accept the challenge and move on. So we are doing a lot for the society. Let me humbly say that we are not projecting ourselves, but we think the church ought to pay back to the society. So we are doing police stations, we are doing chiefs compound, we are building, constructing boreholes, we are giving scholarships. We are doing a lot of things, but this is just one of the many things that the church intends to do in the next 5 years.
Amazing.
Under our theme, Possessing the Nation agenda, this is just one of the many things the Lord is leading us to do for our nation and other nations where the Church of Pentecost presence is felt.
Amazing. So from what I hear you say, you are not limiting your donations and your philanthropic works to Ghana. You would actually be extending your hand to other nations where the church is operating in.
Yeah, the council say Ebumuse Pai is about the same thing. And rather, if you observe, our church is spread across over 109 nations. So wherever our presence is, wherever the church is, we are rolling out a program for the church leadership there also to do something. Yes, the headquarters is at Ghana. So we come out with a vision, we show them where we want to go, and we encourage and support them to do what we are doing in Ghana. So if you go across the nation, the globe, you'll be observing or you'll be hearing and seeing the things that the church is doing all over the place.
Now, we know, Apostle, that the Church of Pentecost often pays fines for persons who are in prison so that they are not given custodial sentences. After this massive project, which is continuing, will the church still be engaged in this kind of work?
Yeah, thank you very much. We're not going to stop whatever we've been doing. This is an add-on. And even with this, as we said, we're going to use the chapel for classrooms. Want to encourage them, those who can write the BEC and then WASI, and we are partnering with the university, Pentecost University, will partner with Ghana Prisons, and why not those who have the capacity to study to the tertiary level we are prepared to give them a helping hand. So yes, those we've been, as it were, pay their fines for them to release. That will continue. We've encouraged individuals, members in our church also to come on board. So periodically, yes, we'll go on to do those things. And once in a while, when people are not able to pay their bills at the hospitals, we will extend support to them and pay so that they can go home. The church is there to help society. The church is there to provide the needed relief. If Jesus was to be here, things that he would have done, he has left us, the church. We are little Jesuses and want to let people enjoy the grace and the benefits that we have enjoyed from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He came to seek and also to save those who are lost. So we're also prepared to go to the vulnerable and to help them. I've said to people that one quotation that challenges me is Matthew chapter 25, where on that D-Day, Christians will be separated into two blocks. The bottom line is how you use the resources that God bless you with. Did you use it on yourself or use it to serve the society? That's why you ask, I was in prison, they didn't visit me. I was hungry, they didn't give me food. I felt cold, they didn't provide me with clothing. Yes, what did you do with their resources? So we as Christians and Church of Pentecost, we are prepared to share our limited resources with the weak, vulnerable, and the marginalized in the society.
And since you mentioned the scripture, what's your message to other church organizations, many of whom are criticized heavily by the public for not engaging in activities as the church is doing now?
Thank you, my brother. Let me quickly read the quotation that we have put up at Ejura. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 3 reads, and I quote, "Remember those who are in prison, as though in prison with them, and those who are mistreated, since you are also in the body." This is instructive. This is a command. So we Christians, we are encouraged to remember those who are in prison. And then when we find somebody mistreated, we should feel for the person and extend a helping hand to the person because we are also in the body. It means you may fall, you may find yourself in such situations. So you shouldn't look down on people who are vulnerable, the destitute, and the marginalized. So fellow Christians in Ghana, we're over 70%. And I think it is time we got up for us to be counted as people who really read the Bible and understand. The church is not there for leaders to amass wealth. The church is supposed to be a conduit of blessing to the society. We gather the members, we preach the gospel to them, we encourage them to give. The monies that come into our coffers, leaders are not supposed to use it on themselves. They are supposed to use it to put up schools, to support the developmental agenda of the government and other institutions in the country. So yes, we extend a hand to our brothers and sisters in other religious organizations to come on board, help us together, as it were, fix the nation so that together our presence will be felt. And therefore, people will have hope in the Jesus that we profess to be following. So this will be my message for other Christians.
Apostle, thank you very much. Before you go, though, we just want to keep you on for just a few more minutes so you see the reactions that have come on social media on your donation. This is from Maupemo Kobla. He says the church has failed humanity, so they are now building prisons to accord their corrupt system. The church is supposed to reform society, and if the church is building a prison, it has failed totally. Why can't they build factories rather to save the unemployed? Well, Real Wise Brain says, I am now convinced I'll start giving offering when I go to Pentecost Church. Godwin Sekop says, well done. Kweku Rasta says, some of your congregants are in poverty, don't build prisons. So a number of questions on why there should be prisons. Kobe Asma says, you use the offerings of the sufferings of the people and unemployed to build a prison for them instead of factories, schools, or even a vocational center to offer employment and hope for the hopeless in the Church of Pentecost and the country. His hashtag is no more offerings and tithes. Ekufo also says, proud of the Church of Pentecost. Thomas Kobik Beji says, good initiative. Izahaku Hafiz Shemtor says, anyway, why do you want to go there? Who do you want to go there? All right. Kofi Plaha says, church builds prisons and government builds cathedrals. How would you react to these comments, Apostle?
It's a bit interesting, though. Let me respond by saying we have not failed humanity and Ghanaians. I think history will bear us out that the various educational institutions that we have in this country were put about by Christian institutions, as it were. Jesus, when the woman broke the alabaster bottle on him, and Judas and others complained, Jesus said, the poor and the sick and the vulnerable will continue to be with us. Having said that doesn't mean that we should not extend a helping hand to them. So far as these people continue to be around, that's why Matthew 25 is there. It means that when somebody finds him or herself on the wrong side of the law and is incarcerated, Jesus will ask us, when I went there, what did you do? We asked, when did we find you in prison? They said, people were there and you didn't do anything. So we're hiding behind that to do just that. And as Hebrews also commands us, we are supposed to remember them. So going to them doesn't mean we are failed. It's just a clarion call. It's just an awakening that has come to us that, hey, we can't continue to neglect these people. Coming home, we have a lot of scholarships in our church. And if you get a copy of the State of Church address recently read by our chairman during our council meeting last week, you bear me out. We are doing a lot. As I said, Pentecost, we don't want to always showcase what we do. So let me rest my case on that. But contact our various offices and know the various support we are giving to our members in relation to scholarships. And we have a lot of schools around, over 83 basic schools we have. And we have Pentecost universities there. And then we have also, as I said, we've been constructing a lot of boreholes in the countryside. We think we are contributing our widow's mite to the society. Right. So members of the church, come on board, support us, we'll never fail you. The monies you give to us, we know you have confidence in us. That's why you continue to give. And we also use it to for the development of our nations. So just continue praying with us and support us. It's unfortunate people think the church is building prisons, the government is putting up a cathedral. Whatever it is, we have responded to the call that God has given to us. We want to support the weak and the vulnerable. Let me quickly add, this time around we've rolled a program, Ministry to Persons with Disabilities, and we are helping them. We are supporting them. We are sponsoring them. We're educating them. Yes, we pray for their healing, but as their healing delays, should they continue to be in pain? No, we have to encourage them to live a meaningful life. So this is all Christianity is about. Jesus came, he left the temple and visited Zacchaeus. He left the temple and visited Simon the leper. Bible says he was a leper and Jesus visited him. So yes, we visit them in prison. Doesn't mean we are failed. COP will never fail Ghana. COP will never fail our members.
Apostle Alexander Nanaya Kumilabi, thank you very much. And I believe the greeting is Christ in you.
Hope of glory. Hallelujah.
Have a good day, sir. You're live on News Desk with me, Daniel Dazen. Now, Registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Kingsley Ajimine, says some claims by disgruntled medical students in Cuba are exaggerated. Mr. Ajimine says specifically about the complaints of poor quality of food being served the students that they are due to cultural differences which make these dishes unfamiliar. Mr. Ajimine spoke exclusively to me as students can now confirm that their arrears of monthly stipends, majority at least, have been paid following numerous complaints on social and traditional media. He says the students have not been neglected.
Okay, so let's put it in perspective. Cuba is a communist society with a lot of restrictions. International transfers take a lot of time. And students, like since 1960, will be embarking to Cuba for this medical exchange program. The practice has always been to be paying within a quarter. Till I think between 2013 and 2016, or 2009 and 2016, where the handing over notes that I received from my predecessor showed a stipend outstanding of about 10 months. and also showed that tuition had not been paid for 2 consecutive academic years. So that was the situation. Fast forward, from 2017 upwards, all outstandings were cleared and students are paid every quarter. There are now 2 categories of students in Cuba. We have GMPC sponsored students and we have the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat sponsored students. Our students I can speak to. So our students embarked in April last year, and as the practice has been, we paid them every quarter. Beginning of the year, we wired money for the first quarter. It took a lot of time before it got to Cuba. It is a normal practice. There are instances where you do transfers. It sits as Ghana International Bank in London for a lot of verifications because of the various restrictions that we have in Cuba. So the money was transferred about 2 months ago. Mission received it last week and credited the students' account last week. So in crediting students' account, too takes a bit of time, especially when mission is understaffed. When I say mission, Ghana mission in Cuba, Havana. So payments went for the first quarter. So we can put on record that students on Government of Ghana sponsored students, the deal that Dr. Alhaji Bawumia brokered for the less privileged community, 76 of them, have been paid up to 31st March. And a letter from the Havana mission is here to confirm that. We have started the process, as I speak with you now, for second quarter and third quarter. There's a request at the Bank of Ghana to make transfer. Bank of Ghana will, within 48 hours or 72 hours, will effect transfer. It may take about two weeks to get to Cuba. So it means that we've started early. We pay in quarterly in arrears. So touch wood, latest by end of month, the second quarter, and even the third quarter would have been paid. So obviously, there's a government that takes the welfare of its citizenry when they take them out for training. We hold them in high esteem. It can never be true that students have been neglected. I mean, let me express my condolence to the family of the deceased, the Erasmus family. Erasmus was not one of our sponsored students, and the information from the diplomatic cable indicates that he had a pre-existing medical condition of which I can't disclose, and that escalated and it led to his death. I cannot speak for the GMPC because I know Dominic is doing his own speaking to the media, speak to the media kind of. But definitely it cannot be true that students have been sent for 14 months and they've been neglected.
When I received this voice note I referred to earlier, the student says that indeed he had arrears of about 7 months, and it was 5 of those months were paid at a go yesterday. So when you say that it was advanced quarterly, he disputes it flatly.
No, I'm not saying they are paid in advance. What I said, we pay quarterly.
When I said advanced, the monies are advanced quarterly.
Yes, so we advance quarterly in arrears. What it means is that there's an arrangement where we pay at the end of the quarter. However, depending on availability of funds, we're able to even pay ahead of the quarter, like what is going to happen in this second quarter and the third quarter.
So there are more funds available now?
Yes, no, funds has always been available.
Not available in the past?
No, funds have always been available, because if students have been paid up to 31st March, it means that first quarter has been cleared. First quarter of this year has been cleared. Second quarter.
Just first quarter they were owed. They were owed up to 7-8 months in some cases.
I don't know which kind of students you are referring to. If this is Ghana Scholarship Secretariat sponsored students, then I'm saying to you that Ghana Scholarship Secretariat sponsored students have been paid up to 31st March 2021. And that funds for the fourth quarter was also transferred. But you see, there are instances when there are government transitions. Mission staff, as I speak with you now, the ambassador is in Ghana here. The deputy ambassador is also in Ghana here. In Cuba, for instance, there was a peculiar issue about one of the head of chancery. who finished, is a civil servant, public servant, who completed her tour, her term, and I think came back in Ghana somewhere in November, December, thereabout. We don't recruit for the foreign missions. They go through a process of the foreign affairs. So I could say that maybe there was a gap in terms of human resource to be able to work with funds that have been transferred. Because if ambassadors were called and deputy ambassadors were called 2 months to the election, as it has been a practice, and a key public servant also finish her term, and money gets to the mission, signatories and things, those to work on will take a bit of time. So even though I've not heard a voice, but I do also dispute that there could have been maybe some outstandings getting to the latter part of the quarter.
If that's indeed the case, why did we not see that, if I'm going by your words, in 2009, when, there was a change in government, why were there no delays at the time, as you told me?
Who says there were no delays?
You said at the beginning of the conversation that there were no delays until the period 2009 to 2016.
No.
Came to me this.
I just took a year to start with, where there were possible transitions, and I said to you that between 2009, when I took over from 2017, the handing over notes that I received, I have not received handing over notes preceding 2009, so I can't speak to it.
Oh, I was under the impression when you were saying.
Oh, then it was a wrong impression.
They were always paid until 2009 to 2016. Then that would mean that in the years in the previous prior to 2009.
I do not have the handing over notes preceding 2009. I have post of 2009.
So there was a delay because of the change in government.
Yeah, then we continue the transitions and things that gets to the fourth quarter. Everybody that is in public service knows that the fourth quarter of every election year comes with a bit of hitches, and even the first quarter, when either there's a change of government or there's continuation, it comes with a bit of hitches, and there could be delays. So we even issued a letter to all our missions that first quarter was likely to delay because of transition. And let's not forget that at the time we did not even have a finance minister at the time. That was when.
But the budget had been read in the previous year for the first quarter
yes,
of this year.
Yes.
Which means that it's basically.
Yes, but you see, appropriation is quite different. Okay, so usually the budgets are read for the whole year, but appropriation is for the first quarter, 31st March. So I have my spent. Let's say if it's 200 million approved, but releases of budgets according to quarter differs. Okay, it's not a cast in stone where maybe you have to divide your whole approval for the year by 4, and it goes by that every quarter you have to have a fourth of it. No, it doesn't work like that. So, for instance, in the first quarter, funds that were released was very, very, very little to take care of some few teething and very critical issues. In second quarter, huge amounts were released. That is how come we are even able to pay second quarter and third quarter. So by practice or by convention, what it means is that second quarter is going to be paid early, even though we are within the same second quarter. We are not waiting to the end of the quarter, which is June. And third quarter is also going to be paid, which means that third quarter is going to be paid in advance. In terms of the students' stipend, is going to be paid in advance. So I just want us to be very clear that we have not neglected our students.
I just want to know, because earlier you were saying that you issued a circular to all the missions that first quarter payments would delay.
Yes.
Because you were well aware of the fact that because of the transition government, there may be difficulties.
Yes.
If you had envisioned that, why didn't you just send the monies ahead of time?
No, but I've clearly demonstrated to you the constraints that comes with public financial management practices. It is not, and when the fiscal year ends, we have to have budget approvals. Okay, we shouldn't forget that even though budgets were approved last year, that's in the fourth quarter of the year, the budget was only up to 31st much.
Couldn't you have factored into your budget that, look, even I'm not even talking about the 2021 budget. I'm talking about the 2020 budget. Couldn't we have foreseen that, look, it's going to be difficult to pay monies to these students who are depending on it? So let's factor all of that, justify it, and place it in the budget for 2020. Pay all the monies ahead by so that nobody is in trouble.
Okay, so the dichotomy is that normal fiscal year starts from January to December, but academic year starts in September. So once you plan for 4 quarters in a normal fiscal year, we are doing 5 quarters in a normal fiscal year. All these things are factored. But you see, transitions are transitions. Okay, transitions are transitions. And that is the path, that's the collective path that the majority of Ghanaians have ascribed to democracy. It comes with features. For instance, Article 70...
Cost someone's life.
Yes, no, they didn't cost someone's life. For instance, Article 71 holders had their appointment come to a halt on the night of 6 January. Okay, so there's a new reappointment, and it has to go through a lot of processes, through nomination, vetting, this. That is the cost that comes with democracy. Okay, so these are some of the hitches that you are likely to suffer if you are in the public service. GMPs is a corporation, they are on their own, they may have their own systems of budgeting, but this is the government own. Okay, the government, we are aware, first quarter of, when the appropriations are, they go through, don't forget that even in Parliament there was a bit of drama. If that was for the I'm coming. Yes, but it's the same, it's the whole year. The first quarter is is one of the 4 quarters.
It didn't, but what I'm saying is that the drama did not affect the spend up to 31st March. It was the spend from 1st
Yes, I'm saying that everybody by experience, unless maybe you want to be naive about public service, you will know that first quarter are hard quarters, especially when there's transition. So government revenues and government releases may not be equal to other quarters. It is a normal practice. Okay, so for instance, if in the second quarter I've received 10 times of what I received in the first quarter, then it shows that this is a clear testimony of how funds are applied. Okay, so first quarter was a challenge, but it's the same government that when COVID was at its crescendo, when Cuba was under lockdown, are you aware that we had to procure things to the tune of almost 1.5 million necessaries, toiletries, including sanitary pads, because even though they had their stipends, you could not find some to buy. We shipped these things to students in Cuba. So can this be seen as a government that is not sensitive to the needs of students? It cannot be, because when it mattered most, toiletries and other things were sent to them to the tune of 1.5, garage toilet, everything that they needed to survive on during the periods of lockdown. This same government has demonstrated faith with these 76 students by paying them their stipends. And even second quarter, third quarter, there's high indication that these quarters are going to pay it in advance. So it cannot be a fact.
Right. Finally, one of these students that I spoke to insists that the challenges that they face do not end with stipends. They say that their accommodation is questionable in a lot of cases. They talk about how the food they are fed is also not the best in a number of cases. Is the Scholarship Secretariat willing to look into these issues?
My brother, you see, cultural shift or cultural change, it's not an easy thing to be able to navigate your way through. It's the same meals that students globally, students from South Africa, Angola, Gambia, Nigeria, all over. So I can understand the Ghanaian students, especially those who have not lived there for long. Cuba is not alien to Ghanaian students. I mean, we've been going to Cuba for this exchange program for all these years. Our dieting is quite different. It may not be, there's this issue I heard about black beans or something like that. Black beans is a staple in the Caribbean. So if you're a Ghanaian student going, you're giving black beans to eat, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are being fed wrongly. We've all been to high schools before. We've all been to university public accommodations before. They are definitely may not be as our homes may be. Even though, in all humility, in some instances, they could be better than our homes. But when we draw the general conclusion that, but there's a Ghana mission in Havana that takes care of the welfare of this, or has been taking care of the welfare of students.
Before you get to the Ghana mission, is it your position then that the students' claims or the students' concerns are unfounded? Are you saying that?
I mean, the word unfounded, I wouldn't ascribe to. What I would say that maybe they are being heightened. Do you get it? Maybe their claims have been exaggerated because yes, because you've all been Clintons before. You've been a student before. You know what it is. You've been a student before when you want to make a particular case. I'm saying that where there are issues that needs to be looked into. The Ghana mission in Havana was not established by the Akufo-Addo government. It's been there since Nkrumah's time. And they've been handling students' welfare all these years. So if there are issues, definitely the mission will bring it up. And we'll raise it with the Cuban embassy here, which is a very responsive mission. We'll raise it here. If there are serious outliners, I'm just saying that there could be one or two outliners, I mean, which we have to try and cope with. But if they get to the extreme where it becomes unbearable for human habitation, I don't think the Ghana mission in Havana will sit on unconcerned. No, because the more or less, they are the parents of these Ghanaian students in Havana. You and I, we're not there or are not there. We can't know exactly what it is.
But we've seen pictures. I have seen pictures of something that looks like rice and something that looks like chicken that I won't eat. Have you seen those pictures?
No, you won't eat. Are you saying that? Can you therefore conclude that they are unwholesome?
But have you seen the pictures?
No, I'm saying that. Can you therefore conclude that they are unwholesome?
My question is, have you seen the pictures?
No, I have not seen that. We have seen the pictures. But if you say that you will not consume, it is very relative.
No, I understand.
Because you see, you can't judge a book by its cover. And the sweetness of the pudding is always in the eating. Okay? It may not come across as appealing, but you might have enjoyed it. Because you see, the first time I ate Tiozafi, I'm like, what kind of food is this? But it's a staple that it's something that if you joke with it with some people, you may receive some slaps. All the point that I'm making is that there's a cultural shift. Even though we give them orientations before they go, but you see, it takes time. Change takes a bit of time. I mean, and these are people coming from our sponsor students, coming from deprived communities. Some of them, maybe the first time they ever came to Accra was to pick their visas from the embassies to embark on. That cultural shift is so huge that it takes time. You and I are well traveled. There are instances that when I go to certain countries, I'm unable to eat. I'm unable to eat for the full period of time that I go there. It doesn't mean that the food is no good. I think the emphasis should be on the wholesomeness or otherwise of the food that is being served them. If the food that are being served them are poisonous or are things that are foodstuffs that are going to be inimical to their health, then we have a serious challenge. And I don't think any Ghanaian official will look on, including you and me, will look on for our nephews and nieces to be fed with unwholesome things. And I don't think Cuba. You see, the major contributor to Cuba's economy is this medical tourism training thing. So we can give them the benefit of the doubt that it's not something they will want to joke with. Because
I just want to say that being a supervisory body over the welfare generally over these students, I can't help but say I am surprised that from your office in Ghana you would all but dismiss a concern that is being raised by students without even the courtesy of saying that, look, we might look into it or we would speak to someone about it. But to say they exaggerate.
No, if you heard me properly, the locus of my phrase was to the fact that we have a welfare mission that is in Cuba, established not by Kingsley Agyeman's led secretariat, established as far back as Nkrumah's days, that takes care of the welfare of students.
Are they looking into it?
No, they are Ghanaians who will not sit down for their award, because these are students of their award. They will not sit down for them to be fed for unwholesome thing. So when you use the word unfounded, I beg to differ by saying that I wouldn't want to go by unfounded, but maybe they are exaggerating. So which one is even better? Unfoundedness and exaggeration. So I'm saying that they might be exaggerating because we've all been students before.
So your point is that if it was not exaggerated, the embassy's welfare office would have picked it up.
Yes, they would have picked it up and they would have used the diplomatic channel and would have known. However, that notwithstanding.
Away from that story, Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul has revealed the military task force deployed to rid the country's water bodies of illegal mining is facing resistance in the communities where they have been assigned. Addressing the media on the second phase of Operation Halt, Mr. Nitiwul disclosed how a chief of Chichere mobilized the youth to face off the military task force who were camping in a senior high school there.
Most of the locals do not know or appreciate the dangers associated with the irresponsible mining. And particularly a community called Chichiwere, I think, is that the name? Chichiwere, where the local chief tried to mobilize the youth against the military. You have 400 soldiers, and they are helping you to clean your river body. They didn't go to seize your house to sleep. If they did, I will not be against it. But they are trying to sleep in a secondary school. And you, the chief, insists that they have no right to sleep in that structure. They should leave your town. That the nation has sent its troops to go and do this exercise. And you think that the soldiers have no right to sleep in the classroom in your town because you claim two of your excavators were bent on the river body? I think that people like this must be answerable to their communities. And
This is News Desk. It's time for business.
Good morning, welcome to business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Ghana is urging the Ghana Standards Authority to step up checks to ensure there is quality cement on the market. The Executive Secretary of the Chamber, Dr. Dawson Amwa, says this will go a long way to help the industry. Here's more.
The cement industry also went through a difficult period during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, it has bounced back with competition expected to intensify with new entrants Jata Cement. Executive Secretary of the Chamber, Dr. Dawson Amwa, appealed to the Ghana Standards Authority to ensure quality products are produced for the market.
I use this medium to appeal. We've done this several to Ghana Standard Authority, which the Minister for Trade and Industry, Honorable Alan Chemate, has even empowered us to have a memorandum of understanding with Ghana Standard Authority. And the reason is simple. Check us. Check our standard. Impose penalties where one defaults. Come to us to collaborate. What equipment do you need? What support do you need? Because we want to be proud of a product from Ghana.
He also entreated the Environmental Protection Agency to intensify its monitoring of cement production factories.
Having too many companies, it's obvious that quality can be compromised. And it's not something that you cannot see it earlier on, but you see it later. And the earlier you see it earlier, the consequences will be disastrous. So there should be collaboration. Ghana Standard Authority must fight.
There are presently 8 cement manufacturing companies located in the country with a total installed production capacity of 11 million tons per annum.
Now, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, has hinted it could revert to the automatic adjustment system should engagements with the Transport Ministry over their call for an increase in transport fares from 10 to 15% fail. What this means is that the GPRTU will now be reviewing prices as and when fuel prices spike. General Secretary of the union, Godfred Abobire, spoke on the marketplace.
Whatever action we are going to do, it rests in our hands to put us in business or reduce ourselves in the current situation. So we are mindful of what you said. So we are still going to do further negotiations. But this time around, we will be looking at that, what margin will please our members, and then to please our customers who will be coming to us. We will go tomorrow. At the margin by which we are asking for between 20% or whatever, generally per the reduction, no, we will not be asking for so much as that again.
Well, so what happens if your consents are not met tomorrow? Because you're going to be meeting the energy minister, the transport minister tomorrow to iron out all these issues. What happens if you do not reach a conclusion tomorrow?
Well, you see, the situation is that our members are agitated and they're not happy with the current situation. And then we were thinking that from the previous ask before we got to this stage, there was a formula called the automatic adjustment, which was being applied. So when we go there tomorrow and then we still don't get the decision concluded tomorrow, then we come back and take another decision before we go back to them.
So we are monitoring a meeting that is supposed to be taking place between the Transport Ministry and the GPRTU. Will bring you updates subsequently. Also, this morning we are just hearing that inflation has fallen to 8.5%. The first time for this year we are seeing a single-digit inflation. There's more on this coming up in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Darryl Kwao. More after this break. Don't go anywhere.